go.
Here we go.
Here we go. Here we go.
Real time, real time, real time, real time, real time, real time, Prince Blue. Real time, real time, real time, real time, real time, real time, Prince Blue. Talk that, talk that, talk that, coach, coach, talk that, talk that, talk that, coach, talking entertainment too. Look, we are not the same as you. Look, we don't need a thing, just you. Just make.
Hey, what is going on, everybody? What is up? It is Real Time with Jamie Lynch, ? Well, no, it's Real Time with Prince Blue. I am your host, Prince Blue. And today I have a heavy hitter in the building, none other than Jamie Lynch himself, the head of content at PHLY Sports. If you're from Philly, you already know Jamie from his time with 97.5 The Fanatic and his deep-rooted passion for all things sports. Now he's leading the charge at PHLY, bringing fresh and exciting content to all the hoagie mouths in the world. What is up, Jamie? Welcome to the show.
Hey, what's up, Prince? Thanks for having me, man. No, I'm proud to be the self-appointed mayor of Hoagie Mouth Nation. So thanks for having me on.
I appreciate that, man. And for those who don't know, Jamie, you've done the producer role, so you know what it's like to try to get guests on and stuff like that. And the one thing I really respect about you, man, is you don't act too busy or anything. When I sent you a DM and I sent up the bat signal, you answered me and you answered promptly, and I appreciate that, man, so much.
Well, you've supported me throughout all my ventures in life, so I might as well pay it forward and support you back. So happy to do it.
Jamie, this is where I'm going to actually tell people how much I support you. When the Fanatic stupidly let you go, I literally listened to your bets pod, and I know nothing about sports betting, but I knew it was Jamie, and he was going to give his take on sports, and it was sports content, and I wanted to consume it.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, that was a fun little 6-month John I had, and now with PHLY, and it's going great. I think we're about to hit 16 or 17 months old, so we're still less than 2 years old, still growing and still grinding at it. It's a startup and it's fun. So it's a new venture in life, and it's been great.
Now get into that, Jamie, because again, you come from radio, and now you're with this new venture at PHLY, and from all accounts, it's very successful. I should know. My wife gets the bill. She was like, "What is a super chat? And why is it $2 going to a super chat? What are you doing?" But what is it like creating content and starting something up like PHLY?
It's really cool. You get to build something. So we have a little bit of the journalism. I shouldn't say a little bit, a lot of the journalism. We have some very respected writers, and they kind of do their thing. And then, in my new role there, I'm leading the charge on the YouTube page and the podcast page. And you want that mix of professionalism mixed in with community and, not people that are above anyone, people that in hopefully an entertaining and informative way. And it's been really fun to build and get off the ground and see the growth. An Eagles Super Bowl certainly helped that growth a lot. So it's been really, really fun.
And with that, like, how do you feel like the fans have been? Because fans are fickle. In radio, your grandfather's grandfather listen to radio, and we as fans, we act like it's so hard to click on an app or turn to a dial or do something totally different because you're used to getting in the car, hearing 97.5.
Just look at that, Prince. Champions.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful, ain't we gonna get into it, trust me. But how does it feel? How does it feel to know that you're number one, you're trying to bring a new medium to media and trying to convince people like, hey, I promise you, it's okay if you look at a YouTube video or if you listen to a podcast?
Yeah, it's changing people's habits. It's a difficult thing to do, but when I was talking to my wife about taking this job, she's a West Philadelphia high school teacher, and she was like, "My kids don't watch TV. They don't listen to the radio. They watch YouTube. They listen to podcasts." So, a lot of kids that are coming up are their TV is their YouTube. It's in their cell phone. It's in their hand. So it's a whole new generation coming up. So I saw the future of it, and it's really cool. We are on TVs now on some fast channels, like free television platforms, like Roku and Samsung and Peacock. So there's that free option. So there is a television aspect of it. So it's kind of like melding together radio, television, and new age media all together, and it's kind of cool.
I mean, listen, I've been support PHLY. Once they, once it came up, because you already know. Matter of fact, me and you got our start with, because I was pretty hard on anything that was radio, because I just felt like it was getting stale. It was the status quo. It was whoever's the most popular athlete, hate on that person, and then you're going to get engagement. And I was one of those that kind of took that charge, especially on Twitter, where it was like I will at personalities. I'll be like, you stink. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, you've never been one to hold your tongue.
Yeah, yeah. But what I like about YouTube, and what you guys are doing at PHLY, number one, you got a superstar in Zach Berman, who he reads
Absolutely.
everything. He always wants to get better. And I kind of like that approach versus, some others where they be like, my shit don't stink. So, it doesn't, I don't care what the fans want. I'm going to give you what I think you need. And that's not how you do good business. So, with that being said, how do you feel like you're going to continue to push this forward and get these guys to continue to grow? Because go ahead and plug the Die Hard, because you're very big on Die Hard Nation.
Yeah, it's fun. It's one of the best things about Zach Berman is every time he meets a listener or viewer, he's always asking them what he can improve on and what he can do better, what the show can do better. And it's not a shtick; it's real. He's that passionate about it. You're right. He is a man that consumes every I don't know if he has a Google alert set on every NFL name, head coach, GM, or what, but like that man consumes everything. So he is as professional as it gets. And the fun thing about the internet is you get to expand beyond the market. And of course, with apps these days for the radio stations and NBCs and the regional sports networks, they exist, but we're doing it in a different way. As you know, with the Die Hard, you get an invite into our Discord channel, and then the Discord channel is like 5,000 plus people, and it's become this awesome community. And in the days of social media getting weirder and weirder, it's nice to have a community that you can go to where people are sharing breaking news, talking about it, disagreeing and going back and forth with each other, but in a respectful way. So it's cool to kind of have this community. The less and less I use Twitter to kind of bounce stuff off of and get breaking news from. So it's very cool. It's a personal kind of regional sports network that I think has a little bit of a different twist, and it's cool getting to know people.
Now, let's switch gears a little bit. There is this team, I guess, in Philadelphia. I guess they're called the Philadelphia Eagles, and they just won something called the Super Bowl. I guess that's kind of important. So this is cool. When you and we finally get to talk about it. I want the mayor of Hoagie Mouth right now, right here. Tell me, how good did it feel to see belts to ass against the Kansas City Chiefs?
Man, that was nice, because the first Super Bowl, like the nerves, our old school ways were still there, and like it came down. I was on my hands and knees on the final play, like ready to vomit. This one was different. You got to put your feet up, enjoy it, and let a second Super Bowl like wash over you. And it was surreal but real. It was just what a effing night that was. It was just a great game. And people can post the final score all they want. That final score was 40-6 in my opinion.
Correct.
The Eagles took the foot off the gas. That was an all-time embarrassing loss to an all-time great quarterback, and damn, it felt good.
Now, Jamie, you're kind of like me, and the moment they scored those 2 touchdowns, I was hot. I'm always hot when they score garbage touchdowns because that gives people an excuse to say, well, you know, Kansas City, if they had more time, they would have came back. They were heating up. The score was this. And I'm like, no, it was belts to ass the whole game. It went to, especially when the mic'd up came out, it was like, yo, let's make magic. Let's make magic. Remember the Patriots. Remember the Patriots.
Yeah.
Through the dagger. We'll be back next year. I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it. And I love seeing Jalen Hurts saying, Nick, you sure? Like, I want to put more on these clowns. Let's switch to Jalen Hurts real quick. Nobody in my recent memory, as far as an athlete, has been able to totally turn the fan base on his side and be like pitchforks for him than Jalen Hurts. I got to ask you this, Jamie. You being in the media, what is it about Jalen Hurts that gets him disrespected chronically?
It's a good question. I don't really know. Me personally, I've had the weirdest roller coaster ride with Jalen Hurts. Because when he was drafted, Prince, I don't know if you remember this, I was a man on an island. And I came out and was like, I love it. I love the pick. He was a guy I liked. I came out and I loved it. And I was like, you know, I see the value in it. You're paying Wentz. You need a cheap quarterback. It's good to get a kid in the system to develop it. And I was like, I really love the pick. If it's a round too early, it's a round too early. But, like, they got their guy, and I'm going to trust them. And, you know, most people had him going in the 3rd or 4th round that year, and they went a little early. But, I mean, obviously it was the right choice. And then I loved his play early on. And then I started to doubt him. And, you know, me and Pat and John back in the day, we did a thing where it's like, all right, you got 6 more games. And it was basically like, you know, I think it was like 32 games or 30 starts. And it was like, this is your line in the sand. Are you in or are you out? And I was like, I don't think he's got what it takes. I was like, I'll throw in the towel. I'll be out on him. So I loved him at first. I doubted him in the middle. And then he won me back basically after the bye this year because I was worried about the turnover thing. When you dated back to last, the turnovers were just accumulating and accumulating. And I thought it was, you know, not great. And then after the bye, I mean, he just protected the football better than any quarterback I've ever seen. And he totally changed. And this team loves him. You know, that's evident when you watch the mic'd up stuff. And he's a great leader. And between the ears, that man is he's got his head on straight. So I personally had this wild ride with him. I think some of the media maybe has to do with the press conferences, the stoicness, the cliches. And then there was the up and down play. So, look, any quarterback in Philadelphia is going to get put through the roaster. And I think he had his turns and he dealt with it great. You know, now you look back on it in hindsight and you're like, how many quarterbacks in the NFL would I take ahead of this guy?
Jamie, that was a sweet political answer. Now you ready for my answer?
Yeah, sure.
You got a bunch of old white GMs that
the good old boys network
are stuck to their evaluations, their initial evaluations of him, and they never thought that he would have this meteoric rise. They think that he's still the kid that was benched for Tua. And the problem is you got 6'4", you got 6'6" Josh Allen, you got 6'5" Herbert, you got Matthew Stafford, you got these strong jawed clinch. Oh, I bite nails and I throw the ball 80 miles per hour. You got those people that they're stuck to their draft reviews and they cannot get off of it. And let's be honest, Jalen Hurts just does not look like the way society, the way draft picks, the way stats, the way you look at a quarterback. Now you go on the screen and you say Jalen Hurts 21 for 25, 213 yards, 2 total touchdowns. That's not going to do shit for me on fantasy. Jalen Hurts stinks. He's mid. But if you look at the damn game, he dominated the game from front to back. He just, and by the way, he has a guy back there, you know, a 2,000-yard rusher,
Yeah, he's
quad
pretty
man.
good.
Yeah, he's pretty damn good. So they look at the stats and they say, yeah, but he's not Burrow. He's not 42 for 45 and winning by 3 points every game. That's what it is,
Yeah.
Jamie. That's what it
Yeah,
is.
you're right. There's a bit of sizeism to it. All those guys you listed are pretty much like 6'4", 6'5", look the part. Jalen Hurts squats 600 pounds. He's got huge legs. He doesn't. He's a little bit shorter than everybody else. He got benched in college. That certainly hangs over him. Yeah, absolutely. Being a second round pick too, there's a little bit of doubt. So yeah, I mean, it's all part of the equation. And then he's like, I don't know if he meditates or what, but that man has an inner calmness and peace to him. Look, the great quarterbacks have it between the ears, right? Like physically, Jamarcus Russell was a specimen. He's throwing 95-yard balls at the combine. But if you don't have it between the ears and the right situation, it's not all between the ears. You got to come into a right situation. But Jalen Hurts between the ears, my God, I don't think you can get under that guy's skin. He's impenetrable. So it's really impressive between the ears there.
But you know what else about that makes him? He's an elite person, and I think you could put Jalen Hurts in any bad situation, and he's going to elevate your franchise. And to me, that's what a franchise quarterback does. Like, let's say you put Jalen Hurts on the Browns, he elevates that franchise. You put him with the Raiders, he elevates that franchise. And another thing, Jamie, we got Tom Brady, Warren Moon, Peyton Manning, Michael Jordan on our side when it comes to Jalen Hurts. The ignorant dumbasses have Chase Daniels, Nick Wright, Shady. Don't get me started on Shady. on their side saying that this guy is mid. So who am I supposed to believe, Jamie?
Yeah, I mean, I'll just go with Michael Jordan. Whatever he says is gold, right? I mean, Jordan Brand.
And I put a tweet out and it went kind of viral. People was like, well, he signed to Jordan Brand, dumbass. That's why he sit with Michael Jordan. If you know Michael Jordan, he does not associate with anybody that does not have his level of greatness, that he doesn't see anything in. You're talking about a man in Michael Jordan who I believe this story, he had it was Carmelo Anthony and somebody else standing at his house. He woke Carmelo Anthony up in the middle of the night. It was like, come here, I want to show you some moves on the court. Dude, like,
yeah.
I like my quarterback. My quarterback is associated with greatness, and now he has the hardware to say, I am the best quarterback on the planet. For that game, for that year, I was the best. Suck it, Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah. And Jordan probably sees, he plays his best football in the biggest stages. Like that's probably the best thing about Jalen Hurts. I mean, 2 Super Bowls and outside of one fumble, just played 2 games that absolutely win Super Bowls almost every single time. The Eagles defense was just a sieve that year, and Jonathan Gannon can go to hell. But but I mean, he's played probably the 2 best games I've seen him play as an Eagle in the 2 Super Bowls he's been in, and that's special.
Real quick, is Jalen Hurts in your top 5?
Top 5
yes.
Current, like athletes, or top 5 Eagles
quarterbacks right now in the NFL?
Oh, yeah, I think he's got to be right. I think I'd probably have him around 5, 4 or 5, somewhere in there. I mean, you got to give Mahomes his flowers. I am a Joe Burrow-aholic. I am open with that one. I love Joe Burrow.
Why does he get a long rope, Jamie?
He's nasty.
I mean, he's so good. It was a throw that he made. I was like, I tweeted it. I was like, I see it. I see why y'all don't want to give up on this guy. I see it.
And I won a lot of money on LSU that year. I was betting LSU like crazy. I mean, he's throwing to, what do you have? Malik Neighbors is like his 4th string, and then he's got Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson. And they had a tight end that was nasty too. I made a lot of money on LSU that year, so I think I'm a little bit impartial to him. You got to throw Josh Allen in there, Lamar Jackson, and then I'd probably have Jalen Hurts 5. I think is fair. But the differentiator there is Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson don't get it done on the biggest stage. Jalen
He
Hurts
just got
has.
$330 million. And Joey Bosa.
And Haley Steinfeld.
yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny how they automatically.
I'll take Haley Steinfeld over Joey Bosa.
I mean, well, it depends. It's 2025. But Jay, let's I got some they were supposed to be icebreakers, but I want some for those who don't know you and know your Philly roots and your ties and your tremendous impact on the city. That's right. I'm saying it from silent bro to you would say something every once in a while. We'd be like, who is this guy? To an on-air role. What is the most Philly thing about you?
Probably the way I say crown.
How do you say crown?
A crayon, some people say.
If
I say crown, and my wife roasts
she's a teacher.
me. She's like, "You will not pass this on to our children." I know, and I'm like, "Yeah, the crown on the bureau."
You literally live with Grammarly. You live with Grammarly.
Oh yeah, dude. She grammar checks my emails, my texts, everything. It's ridiculous.
If you had to describe your career in sports media with a movie title, what would it be?
Fast and Furious, because I don't know how 20 years has happened already.
That can go a lot of ways, Jamie.
Like, you can apply that to my love life too. Yeah, all of a sudden, in the blink of an eye, I've been in it 2 decades. I guess that's a sign of me having fun.
No, that's a sign of you being good and people. You know, real quick before I get back to the questions, I read some of the reviews. Again, I'm like Zach too. I read some of the reviews for the show, and you have this contingency of people that it's like Jalen Hurts. No matter what you do, they just don't like you. And I was talking to somebody the other day. I was like, "Yeah, I'm about to get Jamie on the show, man. He's such a good dude, such a good dude." And they was like, "You know, Jamie's the head of content at PHLY." I was like, "What? He is?" And it was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "You would not know." Like, he literally he looks like one of the people, like one of the guys. And I think that's what's so good about you. If I was wielding the stick that you were wielding at PHLY, I would have a totally different personality. But the fact that you're just you and who you are, I just find it weird that people just can't grasp that you're just a good dude. You're a father, you're a husband, you love sports, and you make money doing what you love.
Yeah, I'm really lucky. I've loved my career, but hopefully my wife, my friends, those closest to me would tell you that I haven't changed since I started in this job because of like what you said. There was a lot of fakeness in media, and I never wanted to be that. I just I like to have fun. I like to laugh. I like to not be serious at times, and I like to talk about sports. There should be a place for that. So I've just been lucky to be able to find it in my career.
If you can have dinner with any Philly sports figure, past or present, who would it be and why?
Charles Barkley is my favorite Philadelphia sports figure. And you talk about a guy that you meet, and I've had the pleasure of having a beer once or twice with Charles. He is exactly what you get. Like, he is no different on the camera, off the camera. He is a good human being. He's up there. Randall Cunningham for me was a guy growing up that was like, him and Charles were the same. Like, they pulled me into the respective sports. Like, Charles pulled me into the NBA. Randall and Reggie pulled me into the NFL. Randall Cunningham was always like the coolest dude in the world to me, with the black high tops and the scrambling Randall bar and the Kelly Green. Charles would be more entertaining. I think Randall is a pastor now. I'm not sure how many drinks he's throwing back with me at dinner. So I'll probably go with Charles just because I get the late night out after dinner with him.
So, okay. What is your go-to Wawa order?
I've recently switched For a long, long time, I was a turkey shorty, a little bit of mayo, vinegar, lettuce, peppers, tomato, salt, pepper, oregano for the longest time, for like 2 decades. I've recently switched up to the turkey club. I think it's the best thing Wawa does. They do a turkey club that is legit, like diner quality turkey club. So I recently have become a turkey club guy.
Okay. What is the weirdest sports take you've ever had?
And the sizzly.
What's on the sizzly?
Oh, I go pork roll, egg and cheese on a bagel, or the sausage muffin. Sausage, egg, and
Well,
cheese.
you know,
It's
I
a good
stopped
item.
eating meat paws last year, so no more pork roll for me.
Yeah.
What's the
Yeah.
weirdest sports take you've ever had that actually came true?
Oh man. Weirdest take I've had that's come true. Ooh, that is a tough one.
I already know mine.
What's yours?
I said that. It makes me laugh just thinking about it. I said that Nelson Aguilar is going to prove everybody wrong, and I went and bought his jersey.
That's good. I don't recall one weird that
Well,
went
give me
right.
one that's weird that went wrong.
I can tell you. Oh, I thought Jaleel Okafor was going to be the future. I was all Okafor up, and the other guy I was hype about because the draft was in Philly that year. When they got Sidney Jones in the second round, I thought we had a lockdown corner for the next decade. So there's two whiffs.
Speaking of whiffs, we got to talk about our Sixers. Jamie,
Oof.
I ask this question all the time. Whose process would you rather have? OKC or ours?
OKC's.
I held out for as long as I could.
I mean, that's with hindsight being 2020.
Yeah.
He just looks adorable.
I haven't seen anything like him in a while. Like
he's sick.
He's so good, man.
And the problem is that OKC has like 45 draft picks still.
Sam Presti.
I know. So part of that is like, I wish Sam Hinkie got a chance. I'm not like a Hinkie, stand in the steps. And yeah, I'm not one of them. But it's like, I do kind of wish he got a chance to see out the vision a little bit more, because Presti's been doing it for a decade, and now they own half of the next like 3 drafts.
They're so good.
I know. And they're just going to be able to reload with what they can't afford.
Oh, man. You see how depressing the podcast got when we started talking about the Sixers?
They're cooked.
Cooked ain't the word. Well, I'm doing the same thing that Paul George is doing on the Sixers right now, podcasting. What a joke.
I really, really respected it when he came out and said, I got to focus on the Sixers.
He's going to turn right around and do it again, because now he's looking. We just got it from Shams. He's looking for damn opinions and options going forward. Just sit, man. Tank for flag.
Yeah, just sit.
Freak for flag. Hashtag freak for flag. That's what. Let the freak flag fly, baby.
Yeah. They'll have a good shot at it. I mean, and there's probably 4 players coming out that people are real excited about. So I don't know. You got to hope and pray.
And OKC would draft all 4.
I know. Somehow they'll get it.
So Jamie, let me ask you this: you been in the media for over 20 years. You don't have to give names or anything, but who is one? You know how they say don't meet your heroes. Who is one person where you was like, God, you are not like what you project on television? Like, I really want to like hit you with a hoagie right now.
Most people aren't like that bad. See, I do a thing where like if I don't like your vibe, I'll just avoid you. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So if I pick up bad vibes on somebody, I'm just like, I'm out. You know, so nobody's that bad. It's just, people are being not true to themselves a lot of time. But everybody's pretty avoidable if you want them to be.
Now I gotta get you not on the record, but get your true opinion. What do you think is wrong with media right now, and what do you think is right with media right now?
Good question. Wrong with media, I think the valuation of these sports leagues is just like, it's just killing. I just think media and sports, like entertainment in general, media is not too expensive, but sports are too expensive, and I think there's a trickle down effect to companies and to try and make it in this sports world. Like the NBA is just like way overvalued right now. Like if
Absolutely.
I was a television company, I would not be meeting these demands. Now, I'm sure they're making their money back in some way, shape, or form, but it's just like, I don't know, the whole sport, there's like a bubble in the sports and sports media world that is just like so removed from the common sports fan now. Like, you know what I mean? You take your family of four to a sporting event and you're like out like $400 or $500 and you're like, what?
More
Yeah, more. I mean,
food, parking. Yeah.
it's like, did I enjoy that?
No.
You enjoy the memory with the kids and like, but then you see your credit card bill when you get home and you're like, oh my God, like, was that worth it?
No, wait a minute, Jamie. You're $800 in. Embiid didn't play. Maxey didn't
Yeah,
play. Paul George
yeah.
didn't play. Luka sat. LeBron sat.
So I don't know. I just feel like everybody's a little like, I think there's a trickle down of just like everything's too expensive and people are miserable with everything being too expensive. So I think like that hasn't escaped the sports world. I'm glad athletes make what they make, but like if I go to a Phillies game and I have to pay $19 for a stateside vodka, it's like this
Really?
feels this
It feels
feels like
wrong.
yeah, this just feels wrong. And then there's people in media. There's probably two or three people at each place that makes like all the decisions. You know what I mean? So it's like
Mhm.
it's just right time, right place. Who likes it? Who doesn't? Can you sell? Can you not? And I don't know. It's just it's always been a competitive industry. It's just I don't know. It feels weird these days.
Because I'm not gonna lie to you, Jamie. It's a lot of people I see on TV and people I see on the radio and people I see doing podcasts with huge followings, and I'm like, I'm not a hater by nature, but I do believe that I could look at somebody and be like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
Hey, listen to this, Prince. You gotta listen to this podcast. Turn it on. I turn it on. I'm like, huh.
Yeah, and
He's
that's the other
yelling.
thing is there so much now. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like it's just so much. It's so much content. It's like whenever somebody listens or supports, it's like it's really nice because there's so many options out there now too. You can go listen to Podcast B. You can go
Oh,
listen to Shady. You know what I
nah,
mean?
I
Like
don't
you don't
want to
have
even. I
to.
don't even want to listen to them because you know what's funny, Jamie? Because when I started my podcast, like, yes, it's Philly centric, but the thing about my podcast is I don't just talk about sports. I talk about everything that I like and things that that I want to think about. I always thought of my podcast as a virtual diary. So the funny thing is when I'm roasting somebody on social media and then they go to my YouTube page, screenshot my views and say, I'm not going to argue with a guy that gets 13 views. I'm like, who cares? Like,
Yeah, I do this for me.
I do this for me, buddy. I don't know how many times I can say, I do this for me. I reached out to Jamie Lynch and I did this for me. Like, I didn't do this because I want to make money. I didn't do this because I want him to slide my resume to 106 in Appalachian Mountains. I do this for me.
Yeah. Yeah, and I always think of it it's funny you said the diary. I always think about that with my girls, like God forbid I was to be hit by a car tomorrow. There's tons of stuff and video, and it's all recorded, and they could always watch me and listen to me and hear my voice. So that's something I think about a lot when doing this stuff. So it is
Yeah,
cool.
my dad's on TV every day. My dad's on TV doing Free Agent Frenzy. My dad had beers with Charles Barkley. Do you know
Yeah.
how invaluable that is to your children? Like, I could tell my kids, I
Yeah.
had Jamie
Start a
Lynch on my
podcast with them myself just to have.
right. And your lovely wife could do a compilation like, here's daddy, like daddy was next to, because you're what, 6'3"?
Yeah. Yeah.
You're 6'3", so you're next to Charles Barkley, who's 6'6". Like, somebody's taller than my dad, and he was next to him.
Yeah.
Like, that is awesome. And people just don't understand. A lot of people aren't making money from these podcasts. I know I'm not, but it's fun. It's something to do. It gives you more. And that's what's funny is when people be like, "Oh man, I'm so sick of 97.5. I'm so sick of WIP." But when people say, "Hey, there's podcasts out here. It's something for all your liking." Oh man, nah, I've been listening to so and so since I was 3. Well, then you
Yeah.
don't want nothing different then.
Yeah. I mean, that goes back to changing people's listening habits. It's when people get in a groove and it's just like part of your lifestyle, it's hard to change that. So, to each their own. I used to get people at the sports radio station that would call up annoyed and be like, "Well, I don't even listen to you guys anymore. I'm listening to Sirius." And I'm like, "Hey, man, life's too short. Listen to what you want. Like, why would you listen to something that makes you happy? Go listen to what you
Right,
want. You know?
right. Like I remember, and the funny thing is when people be like, people used to,
Like, I don't care."
people used to be like, well, if you don't like it, why don't you stop listening? I'm not listening. Literally, it's a clip on social media. Listen to it, then I'm like, people automatically assume like you're like hate listening or something. No, that's not the case
Yeah,
at
yeah.
all. So, Jamie, so let me ask you this. Um, I wanted to get a Howie question in there, so this is totally off the cuff. But Howie, best GM in sports?
I mean, 3 Super Bowls in 8 years, 2 titles. He's rebuilt the roster. He started drafting amazingly, runs the cap better, and has an owner that will, front the cash. Can't take that out of the equation. But yeah, I think it's easy to say he's definitely the best in his sport. Is there better in other sports? I mean, I guess you could say the Dodgers. And what's that, Andrew Friedland out
No,
there?
they have the most money.
Yeah, well, they just have the most money. There's probably some other ones out there, but yeah, I think it's fair to say he's easily top 2 or 3 GM in all sports.
Jimmy, let me ask you this real quick, because I gotta get your what is your stance on the Eagles going to the White House?
Um, I get why they would, even if I don't like it. I mean,
Mhm.
it is the White House, regardless of who's there. So I get it. I don't really have a strong opinion on it. I may not like who's in it,
Mhm.
but I get it's probably a once in a lifetime opportunity for a lot of these guys. So I'm sure they met with the senior leadership of the team, and each senior leader probably talked to their respective position groups, and I'm sure it was a team vote. It wasn't like um, I don't think 2 or 3 people are making this call. I don't think Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman are like, "We're going," and I don't care what anybody thinks. The Eagles are pretty good at communicating in the building, so I'm sure. I'm sure it went up to vote, and they decided to go. So it doesn't. I'm trying not to let that portion of the world right now irritate
Same.
me in the political world because life's short, and I don't want to waste any more of my personal energy and time consuming or thinking about it. So yeah, I don't really care. As
No,
weak of
it's
an
not
answer as
weak,
that
because the
is.
reason why I asked that is because my thing was, if they go, fine. If they don't go, fine. Would I go? Absolutely, because again, it's the White House, and and I always said this, if I'm Jalen Hurts, if I'm anybody on that team, and um, I'm buying air conditioners for Philly, I'm doing all this this great charity work. Who else to get more eyes on what I'm doing than there? And also I could be like, hey man, why am I buying air conditioners for the Philly school system? They should have that. Like, get it together. That's why I'm saying it could have been. I
Yeah,
don't care who's
yeah.
in there. That's still the office where you can get stuff done. That was my only take about it. But again, if you go, fine. If you don't go, fine. But what I don't appreciate is these fans picking and choosing these athletes. Like AJ Dillon just signed, and then they sent the picture. Oh, he was sitting next to Trump, and I'm like, so if they was to release a video right now of Jalen Hurts sitting next to Trump, you're going to disown the Eagles? You're not. So you're being disingenuous. Just stick to
Yeah.
sports and leave politics alone. That's it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, that locker room is probably 50-50, which the country is. You know what I mean? So it's like half of your Eagles probably voted for the direction you don't like, whichever
Yeah.
side that is. So, yeah, I
Yeah.
can't, politics suck. They all suck, left and right, center. It all sucks. It all
Enough of
needs
that
to just
shit.
blow up and
Let's
start
get
over.
back to fun. I just had to ask that. So Jamie, do you think that podcasting has jumped the shark, in your honest opinion? As you're on my podcast, but go ahead.
No, I think it's still like, to listen to what you want. You know what I mean? Like, it's great that there's so many options out there. Um, there's no, hopefully you make money off of this one day. Hopefully it blows up big time and you can start cashing checks.
I
That would
wish.
be great. It's a level of there's an entrepreneur spirit and nature to it. There's certainly a lot of podcasts. It's I saw somebody say they should make podcast equipment like $10,000. It's like that old Chris Rock skit with bullets. It's like, you want to stop the gun problem? Just make the bullets really
Yeah, bullets are
expensive.
like 10 cents a piece. So it's like, hey,
Yeah. It's like when you see somebody shot and you're like, oh, that person deserved it because I saved up for that bullet. Yeah. I saw that meme about podcast equipment. So there's a lot, but like, do I think it's jumped the shark? No, because like some of these athlete and ex-athlete podcasts are cool. It's a new level of access that was never there. There's so much niche podcasts. Like, you can go listen to an intergalactic shooting star podcast, or you can go listen to, a religious podcast, books on, like there's something for everybody, and it's
it is
cool.
very cool. And the thing about that I enjoy about podcasting is it's on my own terms. You just fire it up and you stick to it. You reach out to people and see if they come on. If they can, yes. If they can't, no. And then you just keep it pushing. So I agree with you. I don't think podcasts have jumped the shark, but what I do think has jumped the shark is the amount of, I don't want to say engagement, because I used to do that. I used to get at people and stuff like that. But the the idiotic engagement, like let's say, for example, Colin Cowherd saying, "Hey, the Eagles won't even make it in the red zone in the Super Bowl." Like, that says more about the people consuming him than it does him, because you gotta immediately be like, yeah, he wants me to, he wants me to respond. I'm not even going to do it. I'm not going to do that. But you get the person, I hate your face. Oh, Colin, I want to get out. And it's like, that's the kind of
a long time ago.
Yeah.
I started muting Skip Bayless, Colin Cowherd, Nick Wright, like all the guys that would just manufacture. And the other thing is, people know Philly fans take the bait.
Take it.
So, oh yeah, everybody takes it. So I muted many of those people, and the only times I would see them are when people I follow in Philly would retweet it onto my timeline and like stuff like that, and I'd be like, oh damn, this guy again. And then you like, working in the media, you get pissed off because those people are making a ton of money and have all this exposure and national level, and then you're just like, But that's easy to do. Like, that's easy to manufacture a take and trigger people. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I used to do it.
It's just like
gift.
I don't see the skill in
gift.
it.
I used to do it. It's a gift. You remember Anna Hopford? Yeah. Like, first of all, Anna Hopford.
Oh yeah,
shout out to Anna Hopford. Let me tell you something. Do you know how many married men was in my DMs offering me a cheesesteak because they thought I was flying into Philadelphia and needed a place to eat?
Yeah, that's great. I forgot about that.
It's more than great. But Jamie, we're gonna do a segment now where I'm gonna play the clip, and then it's the I said what I said segment, and pretty much it's where this is your time to give a take that nobody can ever make you budge on. This is what you believe, and they can't waterboard you. They can't make you listen to Taylor Swift 24 hours straight. It's not going to change your mind. So Nene, help me out, Nene.
I said what I said.
All right, that's Nene. So you know what time it is. It's time for I said what I said. And since I have a guest, I'm going to be gracious and let the guest go first. So Jamie, what is it that you want to say and can't nobody change your mind about it?
Aliens are real.
Oh God.
Nobody will change my mind.
Okay, give me an example why you think an alien's real, and no Men in Black shit. Give me a real reason.
It would be so selfish of us as humans to believe in this galaxy that never ends, that's just ever expanding, that we're the only ones. Like, that's so selfish.
So you think that there's a last son of Krypton somewhere among us?
Yeah, I mean, like, we're a speck of sand in this universe. There has to be a life out there. There just has to be. Has to be. There's no way we're the only ones in this entire galaxy. And then there's other galaxies. It's forever. We can't be alone.
So why haven't they revealed themselves yet in 2025 then?
Well, you know the theory that when the nuclear weapon was made, that's when aliens start paying attention to us. There's a theory that when the planets finally crack that code, that's when you have to start being worried about intergalactically.
Okay. Well,
so they started watching us, about the midpoint of the 1900s.
Not the midpoint in the 1900s. That's where some of us was born. Some of us was born in the 1900s. But
do you know that's what kids say these days? That's what they say.
Well, you were born in the 1900s.
Say,
like what?
You were born in 1900s.
How old do you think I am?
Well, yeah, technically, I guess I
okay, boomer. You know what, Jamie? Now we're the Unc. Somebody called me Unc the other day on Twitter, on X. They was like, I was like, I know they ain't got you mad up here, Unc. I was like, wait a minute, Unc? I'm 42 years old.
The worst. Yeah, we're the same age. The worst is I get sir now.
Oh.
Where like one time I was in the grocery store recently and I left my flashlight on. That's a real boomer thing I do. I accidentally and I record a lot of the text message audio record button on the iPhone is terrible placement. I hit it all the time. So the two boomer things I do, I record myself talking a lot in my pocket. Luckily I don't send it. And then the other thing I do is I leave my flashlight on from time to time. And I was walking in the grocery store and some kid came up to me and he goes, "Excuse me, sir, your flashlight is on." And I was like,
not the flash.
Damn.
You know the only people that get caught with their
flash
a
sir
on is creeps and dads. I'm not taking a picture.
Yeah, I got the sir and the flashlight on.
Damn.
Yeah.
I guess I said what I said for the week will be that the Eagles really beat the shit out of the Chiefs. And I don't think it's getting talked about enough. People don't understand. They had shirts printed up. They had asked Pat Riley for permission for the 3-peat. And now some African in Zimbabwe has a nice shirt. So, like, the mic'd up was so beautiful how they kept trying to conjure up these spirits of, hey, remember the Patriots, remember 28-3. Hey, let's make magic. Let's make magic. Devontae caught that dagger, and the next thing out of Patrick Mahomes' mouth was, we'll be back. Will you? Because that's the kind of ass whooping that can derail a dynasty.
That was a beat. That was probably, I mean, was it the worst of his career? Like, it probably is, right? It's got to be up there.
Against Tampa Bay. Because remember, they had to throw away the whole offensive line.
Yeah.
Because Tom Brady and then beat.
Yeah.
Listen,
yeah, for as well as Reed built the trenches here in Philly and, like, you know, instilled that in the organization, it's really peaks and valleys in Kansas City with that O-line.
Yeah. Real quick, so let's go speed a little bit. Why do they want AJ Brown to be a villain so bad?
Yeah, I don't know. The book was a little when it happened, it was like, whoa.
Jamie, you don't have,
like, I didn't have like a negative reaction.
You don't have things that help you cope?
No, it's just you never see an NFL player reading a book on the sideline. It was a funny image. I didn't really care. I mean, he's great. Just do whatever makes you be AJ Brown, because that's really good. Yeah, I don't know. The whole, like, Patriots thing that got started in Boston, like, oh, the Patriots are going to go after AJ Brown. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Where did that come from?
Like,
that's just made up.
Anywhere. Like, he's just not going anywhere. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I don't know. I think some of the AJ Brown, like he went after Marcus Hayes last year, which was awesome. And called him out, and then he never showed up. Like, I love AJ Brown.
I love AJ Brown. I don't have an issue with AJ Brown. Yeah. I'm just trying to figure out, like, why people want him to beat him. It's like, as Philadelphia fans, we have this thing to where we want to break up with you before you break up with us. So it's like, if we paint him in this light, so when he does one out, aha, I knew it. It's 2086, and I knew you'll finally reveal yourself, AJ Brown. Like, it's 2086. He's done.
It's probably diva wide receiver TO PTSD. We're all still unpacking. I would think, maybe. But he's awesome. Calling out Marcus Hayes was like amazing.
Because you know what? This is what I learned. I took one journalism class, and what they told me was, you will never win against the media. That's why a lot of these athletes don't say anything at the media, because the media can keep writing, they can keep talking, they can do it. But the fact that some athletes are pushing back, I think that's good. And I also like, I like it more when people within the fraternity speaks out, because I think it means more when somebody in your fraternity is like, yeah, you crossed the line. Like, I get it, but I don't get it. Don't do that shit no more.
Yeah. And Marcus is a little bit of a shit stir with some of his opinions. So
it's shit. He hasn't blocked me yet on this new account, but I'm kind of semi-retired.
Oh, he's got a new one.
Semi-retired with number one, with the blue check mark, you can't, like, change your name, because then it puts you on hold for 24 hours, and I'm not doing all that. So I'll just
never got into the blue check mark world.
Well, you don't have to stream, so you're good to go.
Yeah, true.
I mean, that money at PHLY.
Yeah, the company pays for that one. Yeah,
I do want to ask you something about Zach, because I find Zach fascinating, because I never see somebody, like, if he was on Sports Jeopardy, he would totally take home $1 million. But if he was on Everyday Shit Jeopardy, he would lose in the first round. Like, because Boas.
Yeah, I don't know if he could name you more than, like, 5 current, like, performing artists.
But ask him to name.
I don't think he could name 5 movies that were nominated for anything. Yeah, but, like, he'll tell you what college, you know, Kenyon Barner went to. What was his draft grade? Coach.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, he is. He has an ability.
Speaking of draft, I mean, y'all getting Fran. Honestly, it's like getting Myles Garrett. Like, it just totally changed like the dynamics of, because now for somebody like myself, like, I don't watch college. So when you get a thorough breakdown of from Fran. I just think that was an awesome get. And this is what I'm talking about when I say
Yeah.
that PHLY is they're moving ahead and you're not staying stagnant. Like Zach and Bo was great alone, but to add a Fran Duffy to that dynamic, I think that was a shift. That's the big three, and I enjoyed that, and I think that was a big move for you guys.
Yeah, it was huge. Fran is somebody I followed and respected for a long time before I got to work with him. He's to me. There's three draft people I pay attention to. It's Fran Duffy, Daniel Jeremiah, and Dane Brugler from the Athletics. So like that I respect and read everything they do. It's pretty great. And he's got a draft guide up. He put it out today actually on our website. He ranked the top 103 college prospects. So you can dive into some Eagle prospect talk there, Prince. I'm open to anything this year. I think
Listen, first of all, when you win
I don't give a damn what they do.
They could draft me and you, and I'll be like, Fred, what's my scouting report? Tight hips.
Take Prince Blue in the first round. I'm like, yeah, sure. Well, Eagles won the Super Bowl. Who gives a shit?
And you know what? Some people still say I'm better than Jalen Hurts. That's how much they hate the guy. But Jamie, I appreciate you coming in and doing this with me, man. I know that we're both dads, and I know that this is their bedtime. And when I hit you up, you was like, "Hey, yeah, Prince, yeah, I'll come on." But hey, 8:00, that's when I put the kiddos to bed. And immediately I was like, "Oh, well, let's do 9 then. I understand bedtime.
Yeah,
let's
9's
go."
good. Yeah, our bedtimes vary anywhere from 15 minutes on a good night to anywhere, an hour 15 sometimes. Dad, can you read me another book? And then you fast forward in your brain like 30 years, and these are the moments you're going to miss. And I'm like, yeah, I'll read another book. I'm a sucker.
Do you read them Inner Peace?
No, I haven't. Have you read it?
I got it right there. It's right here.
Okay, we had the author Jim Murphy at Radio Row. Seemed like a nice guy. So I haven't read it yet, though.
Can you imagine that publicity?
That's wild, isn't it?
It went from like not nothing, but to like the bestseller on Amazon. If that don't tell you that Eagles fans are the best fans in the world, screw you.
Yeah. They might be the biggest. Like America's team, my ass, Cowboys.
Ain't no biggest. We are. We. That's why media always says something derogatory about us, because they know we're gonna come in droves, and we're gonna make you want to ban us.
Yeah, one of the coolest things of the last decade is just the Eagles road trips, like just dominating other stadiums. It's so cool to see.
I've been to Tampa. I've been to Carolina, which here now.
I liked Carolina Stadium because you can kind of walk from downtown a little bit. It's nice.
Oh yeah. You walk all through downtown. Let me tell you something. These Panthers fans, they go to bed like at like the second quarter. Like they're like, I'm telling you, I was doing security at a bar during their Super Bowl, and people was going home after the first quarter. It was like, yeah, I got to get some sleep. It's the fucking Super Bowl. The fuck you mean you got to get some sleep? Yeah. But then Cam Newton didn't jump on a fumble, so I kind of understand it. After that, it's like,
that was a tough look. That was
awful. But again, Jamie, I appreciate you so much for coming through. Please plug away. Talk about the great things at PHLY. This is your time. I'm not going to interrupt. Go.
Yeah. Follow us on YouTube. It's PHLY Sports. We do daily shows. Anthony Gargano has a show. Johnny Marks has a show. Then we have an Eagles, Phillies, Sixers, and Flyers show. Plus, E-Rock and some of those guys, they got a show. And Black Gritty, they got a show. Yeah, and Jason. So we got a little bit of everything for everyone. And then allphly.com. We have a sale going on right now that gets you access to all the written content from our great journalists. Fran Duffy's draft guide alone is worth it to me. It's $36 a year right now. And you get some merch with that and some other cool stuff. So it's and podcasts everywhere. Podcasts are found. Just search PHLY, Eagles, Sixers, Flyers, Phillies, etc., etc. It's cool. So check us out.
Now I do have to ask this. Did you know when you hired Jason that you would be hiring Adam 22's twin brother?
Who's Adam 22?
Google it. Jason's gonna kill me, but Google Adam 22 and look at Jason's pictures side by side. They look identical.
Right,
hold on. But not on PHLY servers. Dude.
A podcaster and YouTuber. All right. Oh, and a porn actor. A well-rounded individual.
Oh, well-rounded indeed. But thanks everybody. Listen. You see my social media stuff down there. It's been there the same every week. Make sure you check me out on Real Prince Blue on all platforms. Make sure again you check out my homie on PHLY, the head of content, the mayor of Hoagie City, Jamie Lynch, man. I appreciate you, man.
Yeah,
and everybody, please take care of yourselves. I will see y'all next week. I have something special for y'all next week. So more special than this. No offense, Jamie, but super special and personal to me that I'm going to share with the rest of the world. You will see that next week on next week's show. So adios, amigos. Belts to ass. Retire, Kelsey. You ain't getting no more. Get your ass out the game. It's over. You went from big booties to flat booties. Horrible look. See y'all.
Come through. Real time.